Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel, The School of Love. My name is Maria, and I am helping people discover their inner potential for love towards oneself and towards the others. Today, I'm going to talk about what I call the quiet confidence. The quiet confidence is a concept I have grown familiar with during my daily practice of guided meditation on the application Headspace. On Headspace, meditation is practiced as a regular, permanent observation of the mind, with intermittent returns to the palpability of the real world. Quiet confidence refers, in the pragmatic approach carried out by the Headspace team, to that ability to learn to trust one's instinct and intuition, and to develop mindfulness as an individual asset into the everyday existence. This, in turn, increases the awareness of distractions and of those annoying inconsistencies occurring when the mind and the body separate into different spatial and temporal dimensions. For instance, in daydreams, regrets, or worries. Mindfulness is, in this vision, the practice of training the mind to stay in the present, to notice when things go astray, to observe them in those moments and subsequently either to let them go, which is mostly the case, or to redirect one's focus towards that particular element, if it seems urgent or important, which is seldom the case. This pragmatic view of including the non-physical part of ourselves as an active corpus into our daily routine, to take care of it and to handle it responsibly, is based on the assumption delivered by East Asian existential philosophies that mind and body are one, and that the one cannot exist without the other. Ontologically speaking, it is the opposite of the Cartesian dual separation of body and mind. We must nurture the mind just as much as we nurture the body, which we regularly wash, clean, pamper when weak or sick, by anchoring it in the here and now of our lives, with intermittent but strictly controlled periods of relaxation and complete freedom. In this way, the mind is tamed, not forcefully, but with kindness and patience. Practicing this regular exercise of cleansing and purifying the mind leads, in time, to a greater sense of wholeness and of belonging, beyond the biological limitations of one's own body. Paradoxically, by disciplining the mind through regular exercises of focus and relaxation, the practitioner starts to get insights into his or her own abilities to control one's creativity and prioritization system on the one hand, and to move one's focus from one phenomenon to another in full awareness of the gesture on the other hand, so that the subconscious is allowed to sort out at its own pace the provided elements and to come up with powerful solutions. This is the quiet confidence in a strict sense. More largely defined, the quiet confidence is intimately related to the core features of the empowered femininity and of the enlightened masculinity, of which I talk in other videos. The ability to know and to accept one's own limitations while coping constructively with them in pursuing a healthy, happy life, compounded by the positive faith that things are going to be fine eventually. This combination of strength, insight, and surrender, harmoniously built in the self, is what gives the quiet confidence its relevance in terms of social applicability. The quiet confidence provides 5 characteristics. which can be learned and trained. The first feature of the quiet confidence is the ability to let things go, or more correctly, to let things be in their natural or universal unfolding. Surrendering and developing faith in the higher power residing beyond human consciousness turns eventually into an attitude of acceptance towards the others in their radical otherness, as Emmanuel Levinas famously formulated it. Throughout history, any over-individual community is built on this sense of acceptance and mutual trust, back to back in times of hardship and face to face in times of joy, which ultimately metamorphoses into unconditional love, a prerequisite for the healthy survival of the human species. The second trait of the quiet confidence is empathy, the skill to see oneself from the outside through the eyes of those around oneself. Developed correctly in time and combined with integrity and kindness, empathy becomes compassion. Compassion is a powerful way of interacting with the world at large, with a constructive focus on positive, respectful solutions. Processed incorrectly, though, empathy turns into the foundation of highly toxic codependent interactions, both private and professional, and of numerous mental disorders. Accordingly, keeping one's empathic abilities under control and educating them permanently is paramount for leading a balanced, happy life. The third attribute of the quiet confidence is the focus on the reality of things, in here and now. When, on the contrary, the mind wanders, when it places possibilities and probabilities with regrets, worries, fears, the delusional and more often than not threatening fantasies of what might be, grow into seemingly actual facts. By anchoring the mind in here and now, in the reality of life instead of the potential, the stable, continuous beauty of the world with its endless miracles is fully experienced. Acceptance of oneself as a finite human being and of the others as equally finite human beings results from this profound connection with the present reality. Because the awareness of the biological ephemerality creates the urge to leave a legacy behind, it is in acceptance that the authentic drive for progress emerges. In the natural limitations of the human life resides the dream for the creative transcendence through innovation and hard work. One's own experiences in here and now are acknowledged as links in the infinite chain of history, continuing the visions and efforts of previous generations and being continued in the visions and efforts of upcoming generations. Acceptance is the core of quiet confidence, with its immense amounts of humility and strength, where one's own biologically determined mortality turns into the very condition of one's cosmic immortality, on the thread which connects the past and the future. Lastly, quiet confidence implies happiness as contentment. In contrast with the superficial high of instant gratification brought about by hedonist endeavors within the consumerist vertigo, contentment is rather a state of constant bewilderment in front of the quotidian wonders of the world and of life. The sunrise every morning, the sound of rain on the pavement, the delight of a newborn baby's first scream, the sadness of a teenager leaving the parents' house for university, the beauty of the stars on night sky, the continuous return of snowflakes in winter. These are all endless journeys of gratitude and joy, unobtrusively occurring in the background of our busy schedules. The quiet confidence thrives on compassion, a balanced concatenation of empathy, integrity, and kindness. Compassion combines the ability to feel the others empathically Integrity keeps us from losing ourselves in the others, and kindness enables us to accept and love the others in their radical otherness, in Levinas's memorable words. The quiet confidence provides the emotional mental background on which patience and insight surface in times of crisis, with inevitable pain, suffering, confusion, conflicts, failures, mistakes, wrong decisions. In such challenging moments, themselves natural part of life as well, a clear mind keeps under control the hormonal rush of the fight, flight, freeze, fawn reflex and delivers the proper response. The quiet confidence coordinates the tension between social obligations and emotional cravings. It conveys a safety blanket in times of upheaval and turmoil by embellishing the memories of the past and diminishing the fears of the future. It regulates the pressure between daily activities and long-term planning by highlighting the importance of the present in the larger context of historical development. Thus, it creates the mental emotional inner space for individual evolution, transcending quotidian restrictions, limitations, and compulsions. The quiet confidence fulfills two major functions. Firstly, it provides fundamental skills necessary for a serene life practiced in here and now. This leads naturally to long-term efficiency as a result from slow, consistent build-up of positive energies. Secondly, it implements the foundation for over-individual structures made up by individuals coming together by the force of trust and the will to cooperate. Collective excellence results from individual excellence. A sense of friendship and vulnerability emerges from this mixture, which subsequently become prerequisites of an enlightened community consisting of self-aware humans, capable of both knowing themselves as individual entities and of embracing the others in their radical otherness. The quiet confidence is a slow process of immersing into oneself and regularly resurfacing as an enlightened individual. It is in itself the very opposite of what has been the main catalyst of Western modernity: competitiveness and efficiency, compounded by clarity and precision. In the literary work Tsurezuregusa, or in English Essays in Idleness, from mid-14th century Japan, the Buddhist monk Yoshida Kenko addresses typical Buddhist themes such as death and impermanence, and how the beginnings and ends of things relate to their ephemerality and to the feelings of uncertainty, which renders, in Kenko's eyes, the beauty of life. The most precious thing in life is its uncertainty. In all things, it is the beginnings and ends that are interesting. Kenko goes on to showing the relation of impermanence to the balance of all things, in his observation that it is precisely impermanence which provides the framework for appreciation towards life, with its irregular beginnings and mostly unexpected ends, which then contain and reveal the potential for growth and improvement. The vision of life based on quiet confidence comes in blatant opposition with Max Weber's explanations in The Protestant Ethics and the Spirit of Capitalism, published between 1904 and 1905. The work details the major catalysts of the Western modernity project: competitiveness and efficiency, clarity and precision, bureaucracy and the strict regulation of power hierarchies within the pyramidal structure of the society, encompassing millions of human lives, ensure that political economic engines work for the progress of the system. While essentially indispensable in the logical mechanisms of secular capitalism, the individual human being becomes increasingly insignificant within the technological, media-reinforced organism it serves in the first place. Industrialization and urbanization provide the socio-economic framework for autonomy and anonymity, where time is money and the direct reference to nature values and biological, physiological needs is gradually erased. Precisely due to the fact that production and consumption entanglements of late modern capitalism cannot be dismantled, the quiet confidence is the bridge between a busy life with its daily challenges and its suffocating rhythm on the one hand, and the consistency and stability of a firm inner core on the other hand. Simultaneously, it fastens securely the individual in the immediate reality of the life in here and now, so that the virtual world loses its appeal. The quiet confidence provides individual strength to lean into the warm softness of a slow life, while preserving and harnessing interpersonal bonds on the background of the futility and fragility of existence. In internalizing and accepting these parameters of life, transience and ephemerality, the quiet confidence turns into the foundation of a worldview based on compassion and cooperation, a creative combination between the efficient competitiveness of the West with its insatiable thirst for progress and forward movement, and the slow softness of East Asian origin, with its vision of human life as a transitional stage among various existential dimensions integrated in the cosmic rhythm of continuous change, death, and rebirth. The quiet confidence lays the groundwork for a fresh identity paradigm with compassion and acceptance at its core, compounded by the willingness to openly, honestly cooperate with the others. It requires discipline and faith, both of which are trained through a healthy lifestyle, as detailed in many of my other videos. This symbolic return to the palpable reality, in parallel with the acceptance and integration of its virtual counterpart, is, in my opinion, a fundamental strategy for survival, both individual and as a species. Without real-life encounters, human beings will forget what compassion means, the value of sharing and of listening, the warmth of a physical, soothing embrace. Without compassion, there is no love, and without love, there is no future. Learning how to find the balance between the real world of physical interactions and the virtual dimensions of purchases and transactions, as it once started, is a skill like any other. Like swimming and kissing, like laughing and reading stories, like believing and caring. And like all these skills, the quiet confidence is learnable and life-saving. Thank you for being with me today, and I'm looking forward to welcoming you again very soon. Love and peace to you all.